Hi viewers, this is Pihu from Study with Buddy. Today we are going to discuss Class 8 Science Chapter 1. The name of the chapter is Crop Production and Management. This is our Part 2 of this chapter. We have discussed Part 1 of this chapter and I will give you the link of that in my description. Now let's start it. In this we will study preparation of soil. This is the first most important task before sowing. Right? So this is the most important task before sowing. Sowing means adding seeds to the soil. Right? Now it is the most important task before sowing, and it contains what are its advantages. In this process soil is turned and loosened. Right? Now in this process the soil is turned and loosened. Now what does loosened soil helps in? What does loosened soil helps in? Loosened soil, these are the mini points in it. Loosened soil helps in allows roots of crops to penetrate deep into the soil. Now, what does it allows? It allows the roots to penetrate deep into the soil. What does penetrate means? Let's take this. That this is the top soil of the land, right? Now, if it is there is a crop, let's take this is a crop of rice, right? Let's take this is a crop of rice. Now here, if we grow the rice crop in a rocky soil, then what will happen? The roots will not go so deep. So they will only become short, and thus the plants will be weak plants. It will lead to weak plants, right? That's why it is loose soil. If there is, let's take that, if there is loose soil, and if there is any crop, let's take of rice, and its roots will be deep into the soil because the soil is loose, and it helps the roots to penetrate, to go into deep inside the soil, which will lead to healthy crop growth. Right? Now our second advantage is now what is when the roots penetrate deep into the soil, which allows roots to breathe deep into the soil. Now here, how does the roots can breathe under soil? Now we have heard about that some people breathe underwater, but the roots breathe under soil. How? When the soil is flowed, then it is smooth in its texture, which allows to enter air in it and which allows roots to breathe deep into the soil. Right? And another factor is help in growth of bacteria's friend of farmer. Right? Now, it is help in growth of bacteria which are friend of farmer. Why they are friend of farmer? Because they further turn the soil and loosen it and add humus. Some examples of it are some microbes and earthworms. Now, firstly we have loosed the soil. We have in this process, firstly we have turned the soil and loosen it with the help of machines, but after, when it is loosened, it allows the roots to penetrate deep into the soil, fill soil with air, allows roots to breathe deep into the soil, and here help in growth of bacteria or organisms which are friend of farmers as they further turn and loosen the soil and add humus to it. That's why this is the most common and most important task before sowing, right? Now let's come to some other points. Now, what the soil contains? Here, our soil contains what does the soil contains? Let's take it. Soil contains, as we all know, minerals, water, right? Water and also air and also living organism. Living organism. Right? Now, what does the soil contains? The soil contains minerals, soil contains water, soil contains air, and soil contains living organisms such as earthworms, snails, and many insects. And some microbes which we can't see through our naked eyes. We have to see them under a microscope. Right? Now let's come to our next point. Our next point is dead plants and animals are decomposed by soil organism and what happens then, which is absorbed by soil by plants. So now we are we understand it easily that it is a type of cycle. Now, as we all know, some plants and some organism dead. Some death leads to their death due to any disease or anything. Some plants and some organisms like humans, etc., always die. Now, when organisms die, right? When organisms die, they are decomposed. They are decomposed. After that, what will happen? After that, the plants which are healthy, which are growing, absorbed by plants use them. Plants use them. Right? After that, the plants dead and they get decomposed, and after that the plants use them. This is a type of cycle, nutrient cycle. Right? This is a nutrient cycle. Now let's come to our next points. Now we have to know that what layer of the soil supports plant growth? Only top layer of soil supports plant growth. Right? Now only top layer of the soil, means not the top soil, top layer of the top soil supports plant growth. Right? Now after that, only the top layer. Let's take about this. There are 4 layers of the soil: top soil, A, B horizon, C horizon, and bedrock. Right? This is our top soil, and this is our B horizon. This is our C horizon, and this one is our bedrock. Right? This is the top soil where the growth of plants takes place, and in this NCERT book, in your NCERT books, it is given that only the top layer, only some top layer of the top soil, of the top soil's top layer supports plant growth. Right? Now, you know that my notes are based on fully NCERT books, not a single extra thing, and not anything is missed in my notes. Right? Now, top layer, top soil. Right? Top soil's top layer supports plant growth. Now, after that, what plant use from the top soil? Now only top layer of the top soil supports plant growth. And what does the plant use in the top layer? The plants use the nutrients which come on the top by the process of turning and loosening. Right? Now, what does it happen? It happens that plants use the nutrients. Which nutrients? Which come on the top come on the top by the process of turning and loosening. Now you got to know that how important is the process of turning and loosening. Now let us talk about that. We are talking about the same topic, preparation of soil, but a main topic in it is agricultural implements. What? Agricultural implements. Right? We are talking about our agricultural implements. What are these? Now, agricultural implements, tools. These are the tools used in agriculture. Now, what does implement means? Implement means tools. Implement means tools, and tools used in agriculture are agricultural implements. Now, let's talk about some agricultural implements. Our first agricultural implement is plow. Right? What's a plow? What is a plow basically? Now, here is a plow. In Hindi, we call it hull. You may heard about this word. Now, what's a plow? A plow is made up of wood and iron. Right? A plow is made up of wood and iron. Now, a plow is made up of wood and iron and plowed, dry filled, may need watering before plowing. Right? A dried field may need watering before plowing so that the dried field may get something softened, which will lead to easy plowing. Right? Now, plowed field may have big clumps of soil called crumbs. Right? Plowed field may have big clumps of soil which are called crumbs, and it is very necessary to break crumbs. Right? It is very necessary to break crumbs. Now, this process is called leveling. Now, which process is called leveling? The process of breaking the clumps of soil which are called crumbs, means breaking crumbs of soil is called leveling, which is very beneficial for sowing and irrigation is done by leveler. Right, now what's this is this process. Which process? The breaking of soil crumbs is called the process of leveling, which is done with the help of leveler, and this process is very beneficial for sowing as well as irrigation. Right, now plow is used from ancient times. It is used from ancient times for turning, tilling and plowing, removing weeds, and it is used for tilling and plowing, removing weeds and fertilizers, adding fertilizers, to the soil. Means it is used for adding fertilizers. It is used from ancient times. Means the importance of plow is from ancient times, and it is used for tilling and plowing. I have forgotten to tell you about tilling and plowing, which means the process of turning and loosening of soil is called tilling or plowing. Now, removing of weeds. What are weeds? Weeds are the unexpectable plants which grow near crop. Now, we will learn about these topics in our next videos of this chapters briefly. Very extremely we will learn, and now I am telling you about it in a brief description. Now, adding fertilizers to the soil. What are fertilizers? Fertilizers are the basically plant nutrients from which the plant's growth is healthy, becomes healthy. Plants which are grown or the crop. Now, the plow is drawn by a pair of bulls. Right, now it is done with a pair of bulls. Means it is now here. Let's take that this is a bull. Okay, I don't know how to make a bull. It's something funny. And the other is also a bull here, and on their neck a rod is placed, and here is the plow. Now let's talk about the parts of plow. Parts of plow. Our first part of the plow is plow shear. Now, what's a plow shear means? Plow shear is strong triangular iron a strong triangular iron strip. Now the second one is flow shaft. Now what's the flow shaft? It is the main part of flow. Main part of the flow is long log of wood. Now what's a flow shaft? Flow shaft is a long log of wood. A long log of wood. Now it has two ends. Its one end is attached to the flow shear. One end is attached to flow shear and other is attached to the beam which is attached to the bulls. Now you can see the picture of flow shaft. Flow. Now what's a flow? It is driven by a pair of bulls and there is a farmer which is operating the two bulls. You can see in the picture. Now let's come to our next tool. Our next agricultural implement is nothing but a simple thing which is hoe. It is nothing but hoe. Now what's it? It's a simple tool. It's a simple tool. Right now it has a strong, broad, bent plate of iron which acts like a blade. Right? It has a strong what? These are some adjectives, but you don't have to focus on adjectives, but the words which are specific, you have to learn it to get full marks in your exams. Now what's it? Strong. It has a strong, broad and bent plate of what? Of iron, which acts like what? A blade. A blade. Right? It acts like a blade. Right. Now let's come to next point of it. It has a long log of wood. Right? Now it has a long log of wood which is attached to the strong, broad, which is attached to what? Strong, broad, bent plate of iron. Repeat with me. Strong, broad, bent plate of iron. Right? Now it is attached with it. Now our next is, it is also drawn by a pair of animals. It is pulled by pair of animals. Right? Now here you can see the picture of hoe. The picture of hoe. Here it is described the parts of the hoe. Now let's come to our next agricultural implement. Our next agricultural implement is nothing but a cultivator. It's nothing but a cultivator. Now it's a third and last agricultural implement. Now what's it? Nowadays flow is pulled. Flow is done by a tractor driven flowing is tractor driven cultivator. Right? Now it's done with the help of tractor driven cultivator. What's its advantages? What are its advantages is saves labor and time. What does it do? It saves labor and also time. Now you can see here the picture of a cultivator. Here it is seen a tractor. Now this is the last topic of this video, and also it's the part 2 of this chapter. Meet you in other parts of this chapter. Till then, stay tuned. If there is any query, any doubt, please ask in the comment box, and also do subscribe our channel. Don't forget to do it. Right? Bye bye.